So yeah, it's been a minute since I've done one of these, and so what's been going on? Hello, it's Sonia here with the Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so happy to have you here. So usually I post videos about crocheting or knitting. I usually have patterns or tutorials. So today's video is going to be a catching up video. I haven't done one of these in a little bit. I think it's been probably around the end of summer was the last one that I did, and that would have been the yarn giveaway, which we did have, and the winner received their yarn, so that's great. That's always a fear when I do one of those that there's going to be a problem with the mail, but she did receive it, so I'm really happy that she got it, and I hope she's enjoying the yarn. So yeah, it's been a minute since I've done one of these, and so what's been going on? So yeah, it's now, I might have this up before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving, and we'll see how it goes since I'm hosting Thanksgiving. So when you're watching this, it might be right before or after Thanksgiving. So yeah, we're in the thick of the holiday season here, and it's been a busy time. I'm trying to, crochet and occasionally knit as much as I can. There's just, been some life things that have gotten in the way. For those of you that don't know, I myself am a widow, and it's just been a tough time for my kids and I. It's been a year and a half for us. And during that time, we also have had some other losses. My father-in-law, and most recently, shortly after my birthday was the end of August, and then about 3 weeks later, my dad passed away. So that's partly why I haven't done one of these videos in a while, is because, just dealing with the loss of my dad. He had been sick, but it's just a hard thing. It's just been hard for my children, as it's now the third really difficult loss in the less than 2 years. So we're hoping that, it can only get better from here. But I'm not here to talk about that kind of stuff, just letting you know why I haven't done one of these videos in a while. I usually try to do an update video at least once a month, and I just haven't had time. I'm a single mom dealing with my own widow stuff. We had a refrigerator break. I had a leak in my ceiling, so, just not great life stuff, but leak is fixed. We found a new fridge. When we woke up to warm milk about a week ago, that's not a good way to start your day, but we got that taken care of, and so hopefully on to, bigger and brighter things. So what have I been up to crochet-wise? I have been crocheting quite a bit, as much as I can. I have put up a couple pattern videos. I have quite a few projects to show you, and in a couple weeks I will be doing my 12 days series. So if this is your first time joining me here, I usually do a series leading up to Christmas called 12 days, and the first one I did was 12 days of hats. So I can put links, if you want to see all those patterns. There's actually 12 hat patterns if you want to check them out. And I do have written patterns for them as well. Some of them are free, some of them aren't free, and I'll put links to all of that. So if you click on the link, if there's a hat pattern that interests you on YouTube, I should have the link on the description box for that particular video to the written pattern. That's what I'm trying to say. Words are hard sometimes. So yeah, and then the next one I did was, let me think, it was 12 days of warmth. So it was anything that pertained to keeping you warm in the winter time. So there was some cowls, some scarves, hats. I think there might be an ear warmer in there. So mittens, anything that was in the warm category. And then last year's was 12 days of winter wear, which that one was a little bit of a train wreck, I think. I mean, the patterns themselves I think are fine. It's just I wasn't able to complete the series because I started way too late, and then it was the first holidays without my husband, and leading up to that, I kept telling myself, I'm fine, I can do this, I'll be okay, and then I just wasn't fine. So kind of imploded. It just kind of all caught up to me, and the really the loss was kind of hitting me really hard with that Christmas, but so I didn't complete the series until later. There are 12 patterns, so if you click on that link, I'll have the playlist, you will see 12 patterns. It just took me longer to get them out. But this year is going to be 12 days of cowls. So I'm wearing one right now, and I actually started this series in the summer working on it. So I should have all 12 patterns, hopefully, hopefully nothing major else will go on. And I should be able to get them done. I've really been trying to work hard on them, and I love cowls. I'm actually wearing, this is going to be one of the cowls in the series, and I was taking pictures of it because the pattern and the video is almost done, and I need like the pretty pictures for it, and I put this on and I'm like, oh, I love it with this sweater, and it's so cold today. Like, it's horrible. So I never took it off. So yeah, this will be one of the cowls in the series. I'm not sure of the name of it yet. I'm still working on the names. But I really love this one. And with a lot of the cowl patterns that I will have, they're going to be more like a tutorial. So what I mean by that, or a recipe, is you will be able to make it to suit your taste. So you can make it as long as, like this one in particular, you don't have to make it as long as this if you don't want to. You don't have to make it as wide as this if you don't want to. If you wanted to have like a shorter cowl, just something, a little neck warmer, you can definitely do that with this pattern. You can use a variety of yarns with this one. So this particular one, I did use Lion brand mandala. Mandala. I don't know how to say that. My kids would be teasing me because I'm butchering that. But I used that yarn with this, and it's a multicolored yarn, but with like the longer color changes. And I just think it turned out super pretty. I really, really love this one. So I do think that yarn is a decate weight yarn, but you could definitely use worsted weight. If you wanted to use finer yarn, you could do that. If you wanted to use bulky yarn, different colors, whatever, you can really, customize it to suit you, or, just use whatever yarn you have on hand. So yeah, I'm going to show you some other cowls that I have finished, just a little preview of that series, and then I have some other projects that I have done as well. And I also want to let you know, during this time, I decided to start TikTok. So that's been an adventure. Actually, it's been kind of fun. TikTok is like, wow, that's a whole other world that I never even knew existed. There are some weird things on there. There are some fun things on there. There's some neat things on there. But I'm just trying to stay in my mostly crochet, Tunisian crochet lane. So I can have the link to my TikTok if you're interested, and most of that is just like little mini tutorials, and I'll have just some projects that I've made, or some like little silly yarn related videos. But that's actually been kind of fun making them. I didn't think I would like it, but I don't know, I was kind of thinking about it, and I'm trying to kind of grow my whole, crochet line, and so I decided, let's give it a try, and it's been actually pretty fun doing it. I've actually really enjoyed it. So yeah, so you can check out TikTok. But yeah, I just stay in the crochet stuff. I don't really venture outside of that because, I'm sorry, there's just some weird things on there. Like, it's kind of a minefield of everything, I guess. And also, before I show you the projects, I have been thinking about what I'm going to do for the new year, and I am thinking, I'm not 100% sure yet, I'm thinking I'm probably going to be doing another Bust My Stash series, which I did do in 2020. It was called Bust My Stash in 2020, and what that was I have a lot of yarn. I have a lot of yarn, and I actually had even more back then. So my goal was to take a bin of yarn and see what I can make out of that bin. And so I started out showing my whole yarn collection, and then seeing how I can pare that down throughout the year and really not buy yarn unless I really, really had to. So sometimes I do a little contract work. And so with that, I usually have to buy yarn, or sometimes yarn is given to me. But I'm going to try to really not buy yarn because I really don't need yarn. I mean, well, I shouldn't say, of course I always need yarn. But I'm going to try to see what I can make with what I have. And that does really help me to be a little bit more creative because it kind of forces me to be more creative. And just, it's so easy to just be like, oh, I want to make this, and I'll just go out and buy it. And, you know, and I am on a budget, so it's really not good for me to, you know, be buying a bunch of yarn anyway, especially with buying a new fridge and repairing a leak. Not cheap. So I'm thinking I'm going to do that again. So I'll show you the current stash, and, you know, we'll just see at the end of the year how much yarn I was able to use up. And I'm also thinking of seeing if I can make 100 projects in a year, which I'm sure if they were like little tiny ones, that would be, I could easily do that, you know, if they were like little ear warmers or baby hats or something like that. But I like to make a whole bunch of different things, so I'm just going to see if I can make 100 projects. I don't know if they will all have patterns. I might use existing patterns, but that's something I was thinking about. And I was talking about doing a like blanket squares using my Stitch of the Week stitches. So I did have a series called Stitch of the Week, where each week I featured a crochet stitch, and I stopped doing that. I capped it off at 100 because I was getting a little tired of it and just wanted to do other things. But I thought, I have all these stitches, so why don't I make some patterns using those stitches? And I thought blanket squares might be fun, or you can also use them as like just dishcloths, or, you know, whatever you wanted to use them for. So I have started those as well, and I did talk about them in some previous videos, so I haven't forgotten that. It's just with the death of my dad, it kind of, you know, real life just gets in the way of me doing all my YouTube stuff. So, but I'm trying to get back on it, and, you know, and in me just still dealing with the loss of my husband, because there's just a lot that goes into that. And now that I'm a single parent and still taking care of a home myself, and, you know, I'm only one person and I'm trying to do the best I can. So I feel like there's just not always enough hours of the day. And unfortunately, sometimes the crocheting and the creative aspects get pushed aside because there's more important things I have to take care of. Not that crochet isn't important, but yeah. So anyway, I guess that's enough of the chit chat. So why don't I show you some of the cowls that I have finished that will be a part of my 12 Days of Cowl series. So I've already showed you this one. So this is going to be one. Like I said, I don't know the name of it yet, but here is one that I finished. So this one right here, and I think it's super cute. I really love this one, and this one will be the first in the series. So I already have the video done. I finished the pattern. So this one will be number 1, and I have a name. It's going to be the Be Merry Cowl, because I just think it's cheerful and just makes me smile when I look at it. I used fingering weight yarn, so that's a very lightweight yarn, very thin, and a lot of people don't always like to, you know, work with finer yarn. I don't mind it, but I know some people really don't enjoy it. And I did use a 3.75 millimeter hook, or an F hook. And again, some people, they don't enjoy using a smaller hook as well. But this is one that you definitely can use a larger hook and heavier yarn, no problem. It's another one that's a tutorial, not an exact stitch count. So what I mean by that is a tutorial versus like just a straight up regular pattern is, with a regular pattern, everything is set in stone. So it would be like you have to chain, let's say 20 chains, and you have to use this type of yarn, and you have to use this type of hook. I mean, for really, you don't have to do anything. But if you wanted it to look exactly like the picture, especially if you were making like a sweater or clothing, you know, you really do want to use what the designer recommends. But for this one, you know, you don't have to. I have guidelines on there, And if you would want to use the fingering weight yarn and an F hook, you know, feel free, you certainly can, but you do not have to. So yeah, this is number 1. And here's another one that I have here. And again, this is, as I said before, going to be a tutorial. I did use worsted weight yarn with this one. And I think I made this one a little bit ago, so I have to go back and look at my notes, but I'm pretty sure I probably used like an eye hook or a 5.5 millimeter hook to make this guy. And I used the solid, it's like a neon pink, and then it's the multicolored one. And this one, I do recommend you using at least 2 different colors for this one. But you could do, every row that uses the contrasting color could be a different color. It's like a mosaic crochet technique, very, very easy. And again, you can customize this to, I like a longer cowl, that's just my personal taste. But again, you could definitely make it if you wanted just a short little neck warmer. You could do that easily with this pattern. You do not have to make it as wide as this if you don't want to. So, a lot of leeway with these patterns to really customize it and make it your own. Yeah, this is going to be another one in the series. So I have 2 to show you. They are actually the same pattern. I just used 2 different yarns to make this, and it's a triangle style, like a handkerchief style cowl. So here is one, and this one I used, I guess it's like a fingering weight, maybe slightly heavier yarn. It's like a cotton, and it's really cute. I really am pleased with it. It's circular, so it's, when you make it, you actually make this in rows, and then you turn it into this. And then the fringe is all crocheted on to the cowl. I think it's cute. You just throw it on over your head, and you're good to go. And so I just thought this one was a fun one, and it's really, really simple to do. Now this one is more of an exact pattern, and you can make it with using lighter weight yarn. Like this one, I use I don't know if it's like sport weight. It's definitely not straight up fingering weight like like this one. This one is definitely fingering. This one's smaller weight yarn than this one, but I wouldn't say this was DK weight yarn at all. So maybe, I don't know, maybe sport weight yarn. But it has a cotton blend to it. So I will have directions if you wanted to use finer weight yarn like this, or I have one with heavier weight yarn. This is that same Lion brand mandala yarn. It's actually this same yarn, but with the color changes. It started off with these like purples and blues, and then headed into the greens. So I actually was able to make 2 cowls with that one ball of yarn, so that was really, really fun. So this one's, yeah, definitely more the grays. It's kind of got like a grayish purple here. And this was the DK weight yarn, and I'm pretty sure I used an eye hook for this one. So this one is just a little bit larger, a little bit longer than this guy. You can definitely see the difference. So just depending on what you're going for. But I had so much fun making this one. Like, it's just I think it's a fun pattern to make. It works up really quickly. It's, suitable for a newer crocheter. So if you got your basic stitches down and you just want to dip your toe into something a little bit, more advanced, this would be a great pattern, and it works up pretty quickly. So I had so much fun. I was like, I have to make another one. So I thought it would be nice to make one in heavier weight yarn, and you could also use worsted weight yarn for this as well. So this will be in the series. So I have one more cowl to show you, and I'm still working on the other one. So this is one that's been completed. So here we go. And I really adore this cowl. I have already worn it. It's just turned out super, super cute. Really fun stitch pattern, and it's really easy. It might look a little complicated, but you're going to be surprised at how simple this one really is to make. And I carried these colors, so you definitely want to use 2 colors for this guy. And I actually used, I guess it would be considered like a bulky yarn for this one, so that would be like a number 5, but you could definitely use a number 4 yarn. You probably could even use a number 3, which is a decate weight yarn for this, and I do recommend using the 2 colors so you can get the fun little, so it really shows off the stitch pattern well. And I also carried the colors, so for a lot of my patterns I love using different colors, but I don't love weaving in ends, so I try to make patterns that you can just carry your colors, so when it's time for finishing the project you don't have to have as much work at the end to weave in all the ends. So those are all the cowls that I have finished right now, and there will be more because I'm going to have 12 of them, and I've been working hard to get them done for you. So I am really excited about this series. I personally love cowls. I wear them all winter long. I hate having a cold neck, so I thought it would be a great series to do for you guys. So I have a couple more projects to show you. I talked about earlier about the blanket squares, and I am working on them. I'm not sure how many I'm going to have. I'm thinking maybe like 20 or 16, I'm not sure. But I already have, I have 3 that are just about done. One that I have shown in a previous video. So this one is completed, and I actually need to finish editing the video and take pictures of this guy. It probably doesn't look too much on camera, but I actually really love this one. It's just using 2 very basic stitches in my stitch of the week. It's a herringbone half double crochet and the cross single crochet, and I think the 2 of them combined, it's just a really pretty subtle stitch pattern. So my next one, I just have to weave in the ends on this guy. This is a Tunisian one, so it's almost all Tunisian except for the border here is regular crochet, single crochet. But if you can do regular crochet, you can do Tunisian crochet. And this one was a stitch of the week. I called it my running chain stitch, one of my favorite Tunisian stitches. I just think it's really pretty, and so I made a square out of this guy. So I just have to weave in the ends, and I need to finish editing the video for this one. So here's another square that I finished. This one is the braided cable square, and you can see all the braids on there. And I think this one turned out really, really nice, and it would be really good practice for somebody that is working on their cabling or working on post stitches in crochet. It's not a super huge project, so this will be a great one to practice that. So yeah, this will be one in the series, and I'm not sure when that series is coming out. Probably after the 12 Days of Cowls. So that's probably when it's coming out. But we're working on it. I have one more square that is not finished yet. It's almost finished. So this is one that it's currently being worked on. It's a Tunisian crochet again, and it's the slant stitch, which is another really fun Tunisian stitch. I actually really love this stitch a lot, and it's not too hard to do. So if you can do basic Tunisian stitches, you shouldn't have any problem working on this square. So this one is almost done, and I thought I'd show you a couple more projects that I did since I saw you last time. So here is a hat that I made, and this is the favorite hat, the name of the pattern, and I really love this hat. I named it's one of my favorite hat designs that I ever made. And so yeah, this was made out of worsted weight yarn, and when this thing was done, it was so stiff. So I did really kill this one with some steam to get it more pliable. I think I'm going to donate this one. Our church is doing like a hat and mitten tree, so I think I'm going to donate this one because I do have I have some other favorite hats in my collection, so I thought I'll donate to this one for somebody that could really use it. So my next project is a knitting project. I don't knit a whole lot, but I can knit. I'm not the best at knitting, but I'm really proud of this one. I actually made this pattern. I designed the pattern myself, and it's from a Tunisian pattern that I made for a publication a few years ago. I did a washcloth set. It was like a Valentine's Day washcloth spa thing for I Love Crochet magazine, and it was a Tunisian washcloth, but I really loved the design on it, so I thought it would be fun in a hat. So I made a hat out of it. So here it is. So this knitted hat design, and so this is actually from the Tunisian washcloth, and I entered this in my local fair, 2 local fairs, and the one I won first place. So I was really proud of that because knitting is not like I can knit okay, but I'm very insecure about my knitting. So for me to get first place in knitting was really huge. And then the other fair I got second place, but to be fair, first place one was really awesome, so I wasn't mad about it at all. So yeah, so I actually really love this hat. I'm really pleased at how it turned out. I don't have a pattern for this hat. I'm not sure if I'll make one. I probably will. I just haven't had time because I do think it's really nice. And also, if I do have a pattern for the knit hat, I won't do a video on it because it will need to use a chart, and that's just going to get complicated with the video. So it would just be a written pattern. But I'll let you know if I did make a pattern out of it. I have another hat. This is a crochet hat, and this is from a pattern that I made a few years ago called the Convertible Waves hat, and I just changed it up a little bit. And this was also made for a local fair, and this is all crocheted. It kind of looks knit, but it is crocheted. And the one fair that I enter, for some reason the judging is so weird. The crocheted hats one, let me put it this way. So like the hat that won in the one fair was clearly should not have been first place, and I don't want to criticize anybody's work. Like, it was made well, but compared to other hats in the category, it was very basic, very simple, and there were some other hats, and not just my own, but other hats that were clearly more difficult and better made and should have placed higher. So that was really strange. And for some reason, I've entered that fair a few years, and trying to get first place in that one, in the crochet hat category, is just, as I like to say, a crapshoot. It's I don't know. It doesn't seem to take into account the difficulty level. So I'm wondering if the judges just don't really know. So I actually finally won first place in the one fair for this hat. I was very, very proud of that because that seems to be the hardest category to win first place in the crochet section, which seems weird because it's a hat, but yeah, so this one won first place. Really, really happy about that. Really proud of that. I finally cracked the code of winning first place in the hat category. So yeah, I do have a pattern for this. This one I did tweak it a little bit, but it's not too different than the other one. And yeah, I really love this hat. I think it's really pretty, and it's nice and comfortable. Especially, I wear glasses a lot, so sometimes I can't wear hats too well with glasses because it like pinches and it hurts. But this is one I'll be able to, and I'm sure if we get a lot of snow, I'll be wearing it quite a bit. So I do have a pattern up on my YouTube and TikTok for this guy here. This is just a basic stretchy ear warmer using like a crocheted ribbing. And this one works up very fast, and it's nice because you really can make this to fit any head size. You can make this as wide as you would like. So if you wanted just a little headband, you could do that as well. And I do have the flower pattern as available as well. So I do have this for sale, the written pattern, and I do have free versions. And this one's on TikTok too. So if you want to, the TikTok version, it goes a lot faster than the YouTube. So if you're a little bit newer crocheter, then you might need it slowed down a little bit. But yeah, this is a really versatile pattern. You can make it to fit a baby, you could make it to fit a toddler, you could, someone with a tiny head, large head, a headband. You don't have to make the flower. It's cute. Like, I think it's nice as is. There is no sewing to make this, except if you want to sew on the flower, of course. But the headband itself, no sewing. Everything is stitched. And it's made in rows, and then you stitch it together in an almost invisible seam. I wouldn't say it's completely invisible. If you look closely, you can see it, but it's an almost invisible seam, which is nice. And like I said, very flexible, stretchy, so no snaps, buttons, anything. You just slip it on and you're good to go. And I had so much fun making that one that I made another one. So this one, I think I'll donate one of these guys to our local hat and mitten tree. And these things are nice for people that like to wear ponytails, because when you have a regular hat, you know, I know there's the ponytail hats or the messy bun hats, but these are great too. And some people just don't like to wear a hat, but they want to, you know, cover their ears. So these are really nice option for that. And so it's another one of the stretchy ear warmer with the flower. Now, if you wanted to make one of these and you don't like flowers, you don't have to put a flower on it. You could have a bow on it, you could have buttons, you could have snaps, whatever you wanted to personalize it. You could, you know, do whatever you want with this one. Really versatile pattern here. And I have yet another ear warmer. So this one is up on the YouTube. This is the braided ear warmer. It's a very simple braided cable. And this is another one. You can make it to fit any head size. You can use any yarn that you have on hand. I had some leftover yarn here. I just wanted to use it up, so I thought I'll just make this ear warmer. And I used the two colors. And this was worsted weight yarn, but I made another one in DK weight yarn. And this, you don't have to use, you know, stripes or whatever. And you can see that the stripes aren't quite... I like symmetry with things, and these don't quite have symmetry because like this taupe color is thicker than this guy. But I actually was running out, so I kind of had to like make do, and I was like, you know, it's a design element, so there you go. But really easy if you needed like a fast gift for somebody. These work up super fast. And again, I have a YouTube tutorial on this one and also a written pattern. So I will have links for all of that stuff if you're interested in checking out any of the patterns or playlists that I have. But that is everything that I have for you today. And so I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching.